Top stories tonight. Senate orders probe into killing of 16 Nigerian army personnel in Delta. Nigerian court denies IPOB leader Kanu bail over alleged terrorism. SANU, NASU strike enters day 2 as Nigerian government folds union stance. Senegal's Casamance region eyes new start under opposition ahead elections. Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. The news begins in the nation's capital, Abuja, where Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has a short residence of Okuama community in Delta State, where several army officers were gruesomely murdered by youths suspected to be members of the community. That there will be no reprisal attack, especially on innocent citizens residing in the community. This was made known by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, where he expressed disappointment at the incidents, saying attacking uniformed personnel should not be tolerated from any citizen. The minister also relayed the president's position on the recent kidnap of schoolchildren in Kuriga, saying that no ransom will be paid for their release, as the Nigerian military is on top of the situation and will ensure that those kidnapped are reunited with their families. Amadine Uyi reports.
It's been one incident after the other, as the nation has reeled from one tragedy after another. While the recent murder of several military personnel in Okuama community in Delta State has continued to generate reactions, President Bola Tinubu, while condemning the attack, however, assured residents of the community that innocent citizens will not be caught in the crossfire. This position was made known by the nation's Minister of Information and National Orientation.
As the Commander-in-Chief and as someone who is also very passionate about having a peaceful resolution of every situation, he has asked for calm. He has asked that the community cooperate with the armed forces so that we can fish out those who are the perpetrators of this act. And he has also asked and enjoined members of the armed forces to also limit themselves to only those who are involved in this. Of course, all those involved will not go unpunished, but of course, the president has also made it clear that the punishment of those who participated in this crime will not also affect innocent lives. Those who are not involved will surely not be punished.
The minister also assured families whose words were kidnapped in Kuriga in Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria, saying they will be rescued and returned safely home. He says that no ransom will be paid as demanded by the bandits and urged them to place their trust on the nation's military.
I want to assure Nigerians that the armed forces and the security agencies are working around the clock to ensure that these children are reunited once again with their family members. They are going to come back. This is a message that the president has always reiterated. It is sad, it is unfortunate, it shouldn't have happened. It has happened. The armed forces are working around the clock. The government will not accept the payment of ransom in any way, form or shape. The Nigerian armed forces have the capacity to deal with the situation diligently and carefully so that more lives will not be lost.
While the event in Okuama continues to shock citizens, President Tinubu assured that those responsible will be brought to book. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
News Central can confirm that the Upper Legislative Chamber has ordered a probe into the killing of these 16 personnel of the Nigerian Army during a peace mission to Okuama community in Ughelli South local government area of Delta State. It also tasked its Committee on Defense, Army, Navy and Air Force to liaise with military authorities to get more information on the remote and immediate cause of what it described as a dastardly act. During plenary on Tuesday, Senate President Godswill Akpabio said those involved in the killing of soldiers in Delta may be foreigners.
No community will go to the extent of doing this kind of thing. I don't think they are from Niger Delta. So I think the first point should be that we should first establish the culprits who committed this crime. We must take it seriously. Supposing they are not from Niger Delta, supposing they are not even Nigerians, and we now come and talk about giving relief materials to people. People should pay for the consequences of their crime.
Still on Delta killings, Nigeria's former Deputy Senate President Okuama has condemned the killing of the military personnel and innocent civilians in Delta State and called for peace between all parties in the Okuama crisis. Omagege, in a statement, described the killings as a grave crime against the state. He said such extreme bloody violence has no place in the society, and it is clearly inconsistent with the traditional warm hospitality of the people of Delta State. While he condoled with the families and the military for the loss, Omagege urged the army to show restraint in its operations to restore order to the community by not wiping out innocent civilians on account of a few misguided criminals. Let's discuss this with the help of public affairs analyst Jide Ojo. Jide, it's good to have you on tonight. Let's begin with this new supposition by the Senate president. He's suggesting the possibility that the attack might have been orchestrated by non-indigents of that community. Is that a possibility in your view at this stage?
Thank you very much. Nothing is off the table, but I think President of the Senate need to be very circumspect in making categorical statements on issues that are not within his purview. How could foreigners come and kill 16 or 17 of our armed forces members? And we know that the Okuama and Okoloba communities are in dispute. And we have seen this kind of things before. We've seen it in Odi, we've seen it in Zakibia, we've seen it in which other places? About 3 or 4 other places. So it's not out of place for a feuding community who feels that maybe the soldiers were taking side against them to try and commit this kind of crime. It could have also been done by pirates. It could have also been done by militants. It could have been done by anybody. But I think the president of the Senate should just have said, okay, we are setting up a committee to investigate, rather than saying that they are foreigners. I don't believe they are foreigners.
I think he has actually gone as the Senate has actually gone ahead to say there will be, they are calling rather for an investigation. You mentioned an investigation. It seems you are aligning to the idea that an investigation is required. This will not be the first time we're getting a call for investigation. In the heat of the moment, everyone is passionate until the next incident overshadows things. Do you accept an investigation will be speedily carried out at this time and concluded, an action, most importantly, taking that will amount to anything?
Well, I'm not a member of the armed forces, so I think maybe this question is best answered by Chief of Defense Staff or Chief of Army Staff or anyone in the military. But
I'm asking you based off the fact that you're an analyst of events in this country and you've seen series of investigations being called for. We've heard this. This is not the first time. So based on our antecedents, is it your view that we will have a proper investigation, we will get follow-up action, we will get a responsive response from the government?
Well, we can hope, because this incident really shook the country to the marrow. Like Amadou said, Felicity, it's a cause for concern, it's a cause for worry, and you can only establish the truth by investigating. It's when you investigate, you know the root cause, the immediate cause, the remote cause of things like this. But if I just hope that whoever will be involved in the investigation will be very dispassionate and will not be biased, because emotions are running high, I learned there have been reprisal attacks on the community by the military, which the military command has debunked. But we saw footage of houses that are burnt or burning itself, houses that are burning, and the military said they have nothing to do with it, whether it's true or false. In a conflict of this nature, the first casualty is the truth. But it will still be in order for the military to carry out a thorough investigation and see whether they can establish the veracity of what actually happened. Because I learned these people, when they went in, they were well received. In fact, the traditional ruler of the community offered them cola, and it was only when they were on their way out, after they tried to effect arrest of about 3 members, that this was resisted. But whatever it is, it's worth investigating, whether it's an administrative panel of inquiry or military inquiry.
Okay.
We need to establish the veracity of what exactly happened that
there.
We lost a major captain, and then, other soldiers, in
let me reference one of the stories tonight, and that's the assurance from the presidency that there will be no reprisal attacks, because rumors have been going around, fears that the army might, go to the community and wipe innocent people out. Do you think that assurance is enough, coming on the heels of the description of the incidents by the Senate Committee Chairman, that it's a national security, it's a threat to national security and the stability of the nation?
Yeah, I mean, it's good that the president has assured that there will be no reprisal. I learned the governor of Edo State, Sheriff Owerori, was also met with the president today. And many well-meaning Niger Deltas have condemned this in uncertain terms. But whether we condemn it from now till eternity, what is done is done. And what can only be done now is to mitigate the aftermath. And like I said, this is not the first time we have had our military being slaughtered like ram. And it leaves a sour taste in the mouth. I recall that even here in Abuja, the Brigade of Guards, some members of the Brigade of Guards were murdered a couple of years back, somewhere in Buhari area, where they are on military duty. So we see this kind of ambush from time to time. But it's just to pray that we do not experience this kind of thing anymore. Let's hope that the footage that circulated is sparse, and that there has not been a reprisal attack already by the military. But whatever it is, this also is a concern, security concern, not only for the Nigerian military, but for ordinary citizens of Nigeria. Because we know what insecurity has been to Nigeria in the last 10 years. It's not been funny. We have had a lot of security breaches. We've had a lot of challenges.
I think I would like us to end on the note of optimism that you've shared, that we hope that they will do the needful, and that we won't hear any stories that will break hearts any further. Thank you very much for speaking.
Yeah, Felicity, we do hope that the truth will be established, and we will be able to prevent future occurrences by the grace of God. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Here. Our pleasure. Let us also tell you that the peace is gradually returning to Asaba, the capital of Delta State, southern Nigeria, after the second day of protest over a clash between commercial motorcycle operators and the state task force on the regulation of motorcycle operations in the state capital. More property estimated to what millions of naira were destroyed, as the state government warns that it will not condone any breach to the peace in the state. News Central's correspondent Austin Azu brings us details.
The ever-busy Okuama Road and other linking roads were less busy with commercial tricycle and motorcycle operators in Asaba and environs due to the clash between the Okada riders and the State Task Force on enforcement of the ban on late-hour operations in the area. Economic activities were paralyzed at the midwifery market, Okuama Road and other businesses as angry youth set 2 tricycles ablaze.
It's highly painful. Keke now today is 2,800,000 naira per one. And if you could imagine losing 2 keke, you're losing almost 5 million naira. My life, as I'm talking to you now, is very heart touching for me.
As the protesters were on the road, some were noticed to be armed.
Not all of them, there is some who they do their business for many people, but most people will be say would avoid. Now this is keke and Okada people. When you scratch them, one of them, you go see them go day 100, come attack you.
Is between those northerns, also with the police people, with government. But as time goes on, they have to penetrate into our markets. Before you know what is going on, they just shot our former chairman.
They keep dagger for their waist. If we Igbo men, they waka now, or the Southerners, they waka now. If police search you, they see dagger, they go arrest you. Why the police know they search all these people? Iron condemn, they carry dagger, knife, they waka. Bike men, they carry knife, they waka, dagger, they waka.
The Arewa youth leader in Asaba said the protest was hijacked by hoodlums who destroyed government property.
So I think that is what happened. Then they started destroying things. So I think that destruction of things and taking laws into their hands is not a good thing. That's what we are condemning.
The State Commissioner of Police, who confirmed the death of 2 persons, maintained that the security agencies remain determined to maintain law and order in the state.
We employ all those who live within this area of responsibility to please go about their lawful business. The government and the police and other security services are guaranteeing your safety.
The secretary to the state government, who visited the wounded victim of the violent protest, accompanied by other top government functionaries to the Asaba Specialist Hospital, said the state government is working with security agencies and the leadership of the Okada riders to resolve the impasse.
Say what we're doing. Security issues are not issues that are discussed on the pages of newspapers or on television. But the security agencies have been working assiduously to make sure that Asaba retains its calmness and peacefulness.
Residents of Asaba and environs have called on the state government to profile all Okada riders in the state capital and Okuama and sieve out bad elements that may become threats to the peace of the state. In Asaba for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Thank you, Austin. You're watching Tonight. Coming up, Nigerian court denies IPOB leader Kanu bail over alleged terrorism. We have details after the break. Join us again. If you've just joined us, you're watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. Senate orders probe into killing of 16 Nigerian army personnel in Delta. Nigerian court denies IPOB leader Kanu bail over alleged terrorism. SANU NASU strike enters day 2 as Nigerian government folds union stands. Senegal's Casamance region eyes new start under opposition ahead elections. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has warned bandits and criminal elements in the country to turn a new leaf or face the consequences. General Musa gave the warning during his visit to the governor of Kaduna State over the recent Kuriga school abduction, including several other kidnap incidents in the state. My colleague, News Central's correspondent, Marvelous Obomanu, reports.
Ever since the abduction of school children in LEA Primary School, Kuriga, located in the Chikum local government area of Kaduna, high-profile Nigerians have been visiting the state to commiserate with the people and government. The leadership of the House of Representatives had earlier visited the government house in Kaduna, and this time it is Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa. While commiserating with the Kaduna state government and the Kuriga community, he assured that the military will rescue the children from captivity unhurt.
We are taking more action to ensure that we safeguard, we bring them out as quickly as possible. These are children, the leaders of tomorrow. We will not allow them grow with this trauma. Let them not feel that they've been neglected. But you, the parents, we know you have been spending sleepless nights. We equally are doing the same. We are with you in this, and will continue to be with this. And Your Excellency, want to assure you that we will put in everything possible. We are making some adjustments to ensure that Kaduna is secured, the Northwest is secured, Nigeria is secured.
We know what it means for a child to be abducted from school. But we will continue to try to partner with the armed forces or the relevant security agencies to ensure the safe return of our children back home by the grace of God.
The military chief gave a stern warning to those behind the heinous act to give up in their own interests or face the corresponding consequences.
Everybody is tired of what's going on, and for those individuals that have sworn that there will be no peace, they will have no peace. We will ensure that we follow them up wherever they are, and those ones that are sponsoring them and encouraging them to do the same, for their own good, they should stop. The state cannot be put under control to anybody. The state is under the state government, and we will ensure that anybody who stands in the way of getting peace in the state and in Nigeria is brought to book. We will take our time to follow up through the normal process. There will not be any infringement on people's rights, but we will do what is required.
With this statement by the military, it is expected that families of those abducted will heave a sigh of relief, hoping that they will soon be reunited with their loved ones. In Kaduna for News Central, Marvelous Obonman.
Marvelous joins me now from Kaduna for updates. Thank you very much, Marvelous, for joining us. Let's begin by getting a sense of the prevailing sentiment at the moment in the environment. What are you getting a sense that these people are reassured, maybe after this visit?
Well, Felicity, these are very strong words coming from the Chief of Defense Staff, and of course, you know, it is expected as being the number one person in the helm of our affairs, especially even when President Tinubu has given them marching orders to go out and fetch these, bandits, smoke them out from their enclave. So we expected such bold and strong words. But for us who have been on the field, who have visited the community, I mean, residents could take these strong words with a pinch of salt, and I'll tell you why. From Kaduna town to Kuriga local government is about a 2 hours drive. And then during our journey, I specifically counted about 19 police security checkpoints. And these security checkpoints, 16 of them were military and 3 were police. Then the last community we saw security presence was where they call Odawa community. And that was about 45 kilometers away from that Kuriga local government. That was where we saw any sign of security. So from that Odawa community to Kuriga, we didn't see any sign of security, both police, both the military, or even the locals working with them. So that is to tell, in fact, when we got to that community, when we highlighted, some of the residents around the school all fled. That is to show you the level of palpability of fear within the air in that community. Immediately we got down, all of them all ran away. They didn't know who we are, so they all ran. We had to call them and introduce who we are. The fact that it took time before they even opened up. So when we discussed with them, they told us that these attacks have been fresh. It's fresh. But despite that, they've not seen any security presence within and outside the community, at least to reassure them that yes, the government is willing to make sure that these children are being released. You can imagine that even after the attack last week Thursday, on Sunday, these bandits also came back to that community and kidnapped 2 persons and injured 1 other. And even after that Sunday, on Monday, they said they also cited some of these bandits within that community. And as I'm telling you, people are leaving that community. They are moving out in droves, 3 villages before we go to that community are all deserted. They are empty.
Were you able, Marvelous,
since this...
I know you've seen quite a bit in your journey so far, but were you able, during the visits of these dignitaries, to put some of these questions to them, asking why some areas seem to have better security than others?
Of course, government is government, and sometimes security will tell you that they will not review all the things they are doing so that even the non-state actors might not take proactive measures. Because when I raised that issue, they said, yes, they are doing something about it, and they will not review everything they are doing. Probably some people are around that area disguised, just probably part of the security strategy. We don't know. But what I'm telling you is that residents are not feeling that they are secured in that community anymore. Even after the attack, they've kidnapped 2 more persons. They've been sighting bandits around that area, and they have not seen any security presence. When we got about an hour to get into that community, we didn't have any telecommunication network. That is to tell you that even when something happens again, they can't even make a call to call somebody to come and rescue them. So they are saying since that other incident, they've not been able to sleep.
If there is so much unease, I'm getting a sense that the unease is quite palpable. So what was the environment like business-wise? Did you see people maybe going about doing business? Have you been able to talk to them to get a sense of how this is impacting the economic activities there?
Yes, Felicity, when we got to that community, it was very scanty. We just saw few people, and the few people we saw said they will not run away from their ancestral home because of the banditry activity in that community. But they said that ever since this issue happened, they've not been able to go out, go to farm. Some of them who have shop around have not even opened some of their shops. I know it's a local community, and it's mostly inhabited by low-income earners, some people who just do farm, sell small petty things. So they said they've not been able to even go around their business activity because of fear. Because since they've been going out, they've been sighting some of these bandits around, in some of the boot patch. So they said they can't even go out.
Okay.
You understand? And now, even when we spoke with few residents around, they said that government has said they will not negotiate with the bandits, and these bandits has given 20 days ultimatum for them to raise 1 billion naira. And then with the biting economy, with the low-income earners in that community, how will they even raise 20 billion? And of course, some of us who are parents, you should understand what it means that for a day you've not even seen your child.
It's quite unfortunate.
One would, if they are alive or not.
One would have expected that such a visit would be more reassuring than it is turning out to be. But we thank you very much for the work that you're doing there in Kaduna. And please be safe. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Let's go to court matters. This time, the Federal High Court in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, has rejected the bail application by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The trial judge, Justice Binta Iyako, however, granted an accelerated hearing instead. Counsel to IPOB leader Aloy Ejimako had at the last adjourned date urged the court to admit Kanu to bail before the commencement of the trial. Ejimako stated that Kanu's health condition was deteriorating, adding that his continued detention by the DSS was a threat to his life.
They cannot go scot-free. Anybody involved in any type of crime in the East cannot go free. And they're doing it because I'm in DSS. And I suspect that some people in government are complicit. Yes. They are making money with insecurity. That's correct. They're making money with it. They know now the Kanu is outside. In 2 minutes, this nonsense will stop. Anybody involved in any form of violence or insecurity in the Southeast, in the name of IPOB, is a gunner, and they know it. Let me come out of this nonsense, this mess. 2 minutes only. Only 2 minutes, I guarantee you. And tranquility. And there'll be peace in the East, not just Southeast. Everywhere in the East, if not the entire South.
To discuss this, I'm joined by human rights lawyer Ekine Henry. Henry, thank you very much for joining us. Let's begin by just referencing that video before we talk about the court ruling. One of the reasons that was given by the lawyer to Kanu is that he's of frail health. Would it be fair to judge a person by how energetically he spoke in that clip?
Yes, apparently one would say that bail is a right, but then there are circumstances that will determine whether the court will exercise that discretion to grant bail in your favor or otherwise. So, and you can't actually conclude on the construction of the face of a human being or even how the human being speaks to determine absolutely the health condition of that human being. Because that would have to be by some expert opinion to determine whether a particular individual is healthy enough to remain in custody and then to be able to stand to defend his trial. But suffice to say that consideration for bail applications are actually based on certain circumstances and conditions. But while it's arguable that every offense could be bailable, even the most of capital offenses could be bailable, but then the conditions or rather terms of bail could differ, could determine whether the court will exercise that discretion in your favor. So the particular application by Kanu's counsel seemed to advance health ground or health condition. They've argued that his health is deteriorating and that the facility where he's held in custody doesn't seem to be able to give effective attention to his health because the effort that has been put by that authority appears not to address his health condition. But like you said, we watched him now. He appeared in court and then he was able to speak for himself. But like I said earlier, being able to speak.
Okay, Ekene Henry, I'm so sorry. We will not be able to continue with the conversation. The quality of your audio is quite bad, and we don't want to put the strain on our viewers. We hope we can get you on to talk about this subsequently. Thank you for the short time you've spent on tonight. Away from that, as the 7-day warning strike by members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, enters its second day on Tuesday, grounding activities at the nation's public ivory towers. The federal government has criticized the action of the non-academic staff, saying that the withdrawal of their services is contrary to the provisions of Section 18 of the Trade Dispute Act. The two unions began a 7-day warning strike on Monday over withheld salaries, with workers in registry, bursary, works and maintenance, security and students' affairs withdrawing their services. Both SANU and NASU are protesting withheld salaries by the federal government. You're watching Tonight. Still ahead, Senegal's Casamance region eyes new start under opposition ahead elections. We'll tell you more when we come back from the short break. Do stay with us. Good to know you're still with us. The news continues in West Africa, where after 7 months behind bars, Senegal's opposition figure, Ousmane Sonko, is back in his home region of Casamance after being released from jail last week. A large crowd waited to welcome the return of a man in whom their hopes for Senegal's future seems to rest. But Sonko is not standing in Sunday's election. The popular 49-year-old opposition leader was barred from a string of legal convictions, which he condemns as politically motivated. In his stead, ally Bassirou Diomaye Faye, who was released from prison with Sonko late on Thursday, is running.
Bon, on est là juste pour accueillir le légendaire, l'incontournable, l'homme qui a décidé de changer l'Afrique. Donc on est là pour lui, c'est Ousmane Sonko.
De notre pays. On a des richesses ici au Sénégal, mais le Sénégal, me semble qu'on ne bouge pas. C'est comme vous avez une voiture neuve et qui ne bouge pas. C'est ça.
Au plan des infrastructures, Promoville, la commune de Ziguinchor à elle seule a 15 km de route. Sans compter la RN6. Aujourd'hui, on peut se déplacer de Ziguinchor jusqu'à Tambacounda. Alors, qui connaissait 2012 ou avant 2012?
Let's now join our business desk for today's business news.
Business News in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
On Business Tonight, Nigerian-founded Move has raised $100 million in its latest funding round, elevating its valuation to $750 million. Established in 2020, Move employs a credit scoring system to finance new vehicles for ride-hailing and logistics, deducting a portion of weekly revenue. The Series B funding, supported by Uber and existing investor Mubadala, will enable Move's expansion into 16 global markets by the year 2025. Founder Ladi Delano anticipates adding 45,000 vehicles to the platform with this funding. With a total of $250 million in equity funding and $210 million in debt funding, Move aims for profitability by the next financial year. Staying on investments, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is seeing a resurgence in IPOs after a recent downturn. Key drivers include potential interest rate cuts, anticipation of South Africa's election, and efforts to tackle power challenges. JP Morgan Chase & Co. notes increased interest from IPO-bound companies. Easing inflation and doubled growth forecasts add to market optimism, and companies eye spin-offs to unlock subsidiary value. The highly anticipated Coca-Cola Beverages Africa listing could hit $8 billion. And despite this, African firms often prefer offshore listings for liquidity. Nonetheless, the JSE's revival signifies improved market conditions and rising investor confidence. Let's now tell you that Uganda's gold exports have skyrocketed over tenfold in 2023, reaching a staggering $2.3 billion, as reported by the central bank. Despite U.S. sanctions on a major processor, African Gold Refinery, the country's gold trade thrives. Analysts attribute the surge to the operation of new processors, notably the Chinese-owned Wagagai Mining Limited. According to experts, the increased capacity of the Chinese plants, along with suspension of tariffs on gold exports, have facilitated this unprecedented growth. This news underscores Uganda's emerging status as a regional hub for gold trade. And that's it on Business Stories for tonight. Do stay with us. We still have more to come. I am Lekon Onobanjo.
News in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Let's turn our attention to sports now. We get the latest update from Oyinyechi Obara.
Sports update brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Thank you, Felicity. In the world of sports, Nigeria's Olayinka Olajide has won the country's first medal in athletics at the African Games in Accra, winning a bronze medal in the women's 100 meters in a time of 11.55 seconds. Olayinka was overpowered by Gambia's Gina Bass, who won with gold medal at 11.36 seconds, while Alice McCoy of Liberia secured silver with 11.49 seconds. The Games are Olayinka's first senior international outing for Nigeria. Meanwhile, reigning national champion Ishorise Shekiri came in second with a time of 10.23 seconds to claim silver in the men's 100 meters final in Accra, Ghana. Ishorise Shekiri finished behind Cameroon's Emmanuel Eseme, who won the race with a time of 10.14 seconds to claim gold. Namibia's Gilbert Hanuka picked the bronze medal with a time of 10.29 seconds, while Shekiri's compatriot Consider Ekenem finished fourth at a time of 10.42 seconds. Moving away from that, Ethiopia's long-distance runner, Alam Shehe Eshefa, has been provisionally suspended by the Athletics Integrity Unit, ARU, for whereabouts failures, which is a violation of the World Anti-Doping Rules. The 25-year-old, who is a double Taipei marathon champion, has been issued with a notice of allegation, pending any subsequent appeal from the accused athletes. Athletes were members of the World Athletics Registered Testing Pool are required to provide whereabout information, including addresses, competition schedules, and a 60-minute daily time slot, which gives the Athletics Integrity Unit the ability to locate athletes with no notice, which is a vital one for testing athletes and preventing doping in the sport. The Federation of the Cameroonian Football Association, FACAFOOT, has cleared Victoria midfielder Nathan Douala of any age discrepancy and approved his eligibility to play in the upcoming playoffs. Douala was suspended on the 10th of March 2024 for an accusation of false identity, stalling the career of the player who had begun to impress in the Cameroonian League with the club Victoria United FC. However, a new twist in the Cameroonian Football Federation has cleared Douala of the accusation and allowed him to play the upcoming Elite 2024 playoffs for Victoria. The clearance also affirmed his date of birth as 15th of June 2006, a fact which means the player is 17 years old. Finally, in the world of sports, the International Football Association Board, IFAB, has approved the testing of a new offside rule that will put the rest on ending controversy surrounding the contentions of the offside rule. IFAB is an international body charged with writing and codifying the laws of football. According to Arsene Wenger, the current chief of the International Football Development of the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA, and the former coach of Arsenal, the new proposal will flag a player offside only if the full body is beyond the final defender's line. Of the 4 offsides on the average in each football match, only 2 will be offside with a change in the rule, something that could make it possible for the game to be more offensive and allow more goals to be scored in a particular game. And that's it in the world of sport. I am Onyinyechi Obaru. Back to you, Felicity.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Up next is entertainment with Jadel Simon.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Hollywood star Idris Elba is set to direct a Lagos-based short film titled Dust the Dreams in collaboration with Nigerian entertainment entrepreneur Mo Abudu. The film, a joint effort between Mo Abudu's Ebony Life Films and Afrexim Bank through its Creative African Nexus, explores the relationship between a mother and her teenage daughter as she meets her father for the first time. British-Nigerian music star Seal is on the cast list. Also featured in the film are Nollywood stars Nsenpe Etienne, Eko Edewo, Atlanta Bridget Johnson, and former Nigerian Idol contestant Constance Olatunde. Mo Abudu, who is the creator of the film, will also serve as executive producer and producer, with Heidi Eyes as supervising producer. This project marks the first notable production resulting from a co-production deal between Abudu's Ebony Life Media and Elba's Green Door Pictures, signed in 2023. Meanwhile, following a New York jury's conviction of Jonathan Majors for misdemeanor, reckless assault and harassment, fallout has erupted in a lawsuit against the actor by his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. Now, Grace claims that she alerted Majors' management team of abuse in 2021 in the lawsuit filed on Tuesday in New York federal courts. Jabari brings claims for battery, assault, intentional infliction of emotional distress, malicious prosecution, and defamation, alleging a pattern of pervasive domestic abuse by Majors from 2021 to 2023. She accuses Majors of tarnishing her reputation, including in his interview with Good Morning America after his sentencing. The criminal court case against Majors, where he was earlier convicted, was related to an incident on March 25, 2023. That's where we call it a wrap on entertainment tonight. Trending comes next after this short break.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Now, moving away from entertainment stories, the trending topic across social media platforms today is the hashtag Soludo. Anambra State Governor Okuama Soludo has stirred controversy by reportedly admitting to refusing repairs of a dilapidated road due to its location in the constituency of an opposition politician. The governor's statement has sparked criticism, with many questioning the prioritization of infrastructure development based on political affiliations rather than the needs of citizens. This revelation adds fuel to ongoing debate about governance, accountability, and equitable distribution of resources in states across the federation. As usual, Nigerians had their differing opinions on this matter and took to X to share their thoughts. Let's take some reactions to this. Obia Bolu is saying, let Soludo go and do apprenticeship in the hands of Alex Oti. He sure does lack what it takes to be governor. He is busy picking opposition territories to exempt from road constructions, while Oti is busy bringing Abia State back to life. Another tweet from Adeleke is saying, Soludo's comments must have been taken out of context. He will surely do second term. He's performing wonderfully well. And then another tweet from Neckboy saying, Soludo doesn't have any intention of developing Anambra. His two intentions are to shame Peter Obi and do token projects to win second term. And that's where we call it a wrap tonight on What's Trending. But you can join the conversation and share your thoughts across our social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. I am Jadel Simon.
Thank you, Jadel. And that's where we wrap things up tonight. And not before we bring you a review of the headlines. Senate has ordered probe into killing of 16 Nigerian army personnel in Delta. Nigerian court has denied IPOB leader Kanu bail over alleged terrorism. Sanu Nasu strike has entered day 2 as Nigerian government folds union stands. Senegal's Casamance region eyes new start under opposition ahead elections. To send your eyewitness report to the number showing now on your screen, or you could follow us on social media to do same at News Central TV. We're live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Apple TV, and on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.